Hello everyone, it's Maria here. Welcome back to my channel. As a mature pensioner in my late 70s and living on a fixed income, I like to keep an eye on where my money goes. Let's be honest, have you seen the price of shop-bought granola lately? I nearly needed smelling salts when I looked at the supermarket shelf. So today I'm going to show you how to make your own delicious granola at home. If you enjoy the video, please remember to press the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. It won't cost you a penny. All you need today are some good old-fashioned porridge oats, a handful of nuts, some dried fruit and a few simple ingredients you probably already have in the cupboard. It's healthy, it's incredibly easy to make, and best of all, it costs a fraction of the price of the fancy packets in the supermarket. You can make it exactly how you like it. Love almonds? Throw them in. Prefer raisins to cranberries? Go for it. You're the boss of your breakfast. And unlike those expensive supermarket bags, you don't need a magnifying glass to find the nuts. By the end of this video, you'll have a crunchy, tasty granola that's perfect for breakfast, sprinkled over yogurt. Or if you're anything like me, you'll keep wandering into the kitchen. Just one more little handful, and somehow half the jar disappears. I've got all the ingredients in front of me, so let's get started. Before mixing all your dried ingredients, I would get this together. So it's 40 grams of coconut oil. Let's put that in there. Okay. Now you don't have to use coconut oil if you find that's a little bit too expensive. You can use vegetable oil, butter, margarine, whatever, as long as there's some sort of oil so it can coat. So that's the oil. Then runny honey. So we're adding the honey to maybe about 125 now. Now I like, altogether you do about 200 grams, 200 mils, but I like to add maple syrup. So I make up the maple syrup, I make it up to 200. It's totally your choice. You don't have to. You can stick with just honey. It's just as delicious, but I like maple syrup. And there you go. So now we have to stir it. Let's take it off the thing. You stir it. And this now goes into the microwave. I only put it in for about 30 seconds because it has to melt, and then it's allowed to go cool before you mix it into the mixture later on. So that's ready to go into the microwave. So now we place the liquid into the, well, in my case, in the microwave, and we set it for 30 seconds and see how 30 seconds is. See how it is. Give it a little mix if it's necessary. So let's check it now to see what it is. You have to be careful because it gets very hot, being oil. Do you know what? I'm going to leave that because that's warm enough to carry on. Just the little bits. Yes, that's fine. And now we leave this to one side to cool. Right, now we do the nuts. So what we do, take a handful of nuts here. I've got walnuts, hazelnuts, cashews and almonds. You can, in fact, it's a bag of mixed nuts. It's just so much easier. But you can use whatever you want. It's your breakfast. You can have them, but I like to keep them a bit chunkier. So here we go. So that to me is just nice. The hazelnuts you can actually keep whole. Right, so I shall put those into my bowl. So now we chop the fruit. So we start with the dates. Again, you can use any fruit you want. If you don't want cranberries, you can put raisins in, whatever. It's up to you, it's your choice. Now onto the apricots. I do use a bread knife. I know it might look a bit weird, but I find it cuts really well and it suits me. And now, last but not least for me, mango, dried mango. A little bit more difficult to cut, but they are so nice. Just adds a wonderful sweetness to it. So there we are. All the fruit is all chopped and prepared. As I said before, you can choose whatever you want. Well, now we have the dry ingredients. So I use 340 porridge oats. I use 50 grams of coconut shavings. You don't have to put them in, it's up to you, but I like them. 50 grams of pumpkin seeds and 200 grams of mixed nuts. Now I've bought a bag of mixed nuts, so much easier but you can use whatever nuts you want. These are all going in this bowl. This bowl was given to me by my mum 50 years ago. Still going strong, lovely, good old school. So now we mix all the ingredients together. Right, now to whisk the egg white. You don't have to use a hand whisk, it's just that I'm a bit lazy, I like it. I'd say that was fine. We don't have to put over my head to see if it's a meringue because it's going in the mix. Right, now the oil is nice and cool, so we stir it in, trying to coat every single bit. Should get it out of there. That's it. Keep stirring. Going darker. Yeah, I think that's fine. Right, when that's ready, you then add the egg white and stir that in. And there we have it, the first batch already. I'm using an air fryer, so I basically just grease my pot with malt butter, and then I put the mixture into the dish. Just do it nice and even. Right, my Ninja, I use a Mega Zone, and I personally have found by trial and error that roast is the best way to do it. You can use bake, you can do air fry. I use roast. You set it down to 150 and 20 minutes. And let's go. Right, we're coming up to about 10 minutes. So what I do, I open it up and give it a stir. You can see the difference is the top is going brown and the bottom is still pale. It just evens it out, makes it better, and it's a lot better consistency. Put that back in and leave it alone. Right, now it's gone down. It's had this 20 minutes. Let's just double check. Oh, it looks good. Do you know what? I think I may give that another 2 minutes. It looks a little bit pale. No, maybe more. I'll do it for 1 minute. Let's see. All right, so here we are. Another minute. So, oh, that looks okay. See, I say 20 minutes, but I think it's always best to check. Sometimes a little bit longer. It depends. Sometimes it might even be earlier. But there you go. That's going to look lovely. Excellent. Right, now we take it and we let it cool for the next stage. And there we go. Looks beautiful. So now it's nicely cooled. So we can put this back in the mixing bowl. There you go, it comes away really good. There we go, excellent. There we go, nice and clear. And now we add the fruit. So there's the apricots, dried mango, cranberries, and the dates. Nicely mix. Oh, you can hear the crunch. You know that it's done really nicely. It's nice and crunchy. So now all you do is you fill them into these sealable jars. They last up to weeks. Well, mine don't. but they can last up to weeks. And there we have it. I hope I've shown you that healthy eating doesn't have to cost the earth. The shop bought one was £3.50, which works out to 35p for a 50-gram portion. The same amount at my homemade granola comes in at £2, just 20 pence per portion, using my ingredients. You can save even more by swapping out ingredients. For example, using vegetable oil instead of coconut oil. It's entirely up to you. So forget the expensive granola in the fancy packet with the mountain on the front. Making your own is easy, healthier, and much kinder to your wallet. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. It costs you absolutely nothing, but it means the world to me and helps my little channel grow. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a cup of tea waiting and a jar of granola that's calling my name. See you next time. Bye.